Is this on? Yep. Look, I ain't got no haircut yet. Still just as wildy as you can get. Kind of looks. I like the long hair. Looks me taking care of that giant bald spot that's showing up on my forehead. You guys, I'm sorry, but I've just been busy serving this devil for this art show that I'm doing. Giant paintings like 4 foot by 8 foot, and others. Some things 3 by 5, 4 by 6. I just love to paint giant pictures, and whereas a good number of times I just paint a bunch of little pictures. They're called candy bars. I call them sweet little paintings. Because, I found that there's not a lot of room for these big old pictures. People's houses, unless they're renovating, want to cover up one of their windows. But but I do suggest that they do that. That'd be cool. But anyways, you don't really get to show yourself, if you're working all the time towards trying to make money and producing something that, the people can afford. Or you just lower your price if you want and want to really buy any of these things. But if that were the thing, then it's going to limit a whole mess of artists when they want to be creative out there. That they have to bring everything down to a level or to a less amount of work or effort put into something. Whereas beauty is kind of arbitrary. You can make something everyone really likes. You put price on that, but they could have another guy right beside it, another 20 paintings that doesn't have that same desire or want. But if all I do is put out little pictures so I can make my rent, then I am stifling myself as an artist and not getting to show myself as a creator. So every now and then you got to take it on ahead just to try something new and not even care, but it's not really my first ball game at this and a rodeo. I did it before, about maybe like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, when I started my art classes all over again here. I make a little bit more dollars that I can that becomes my bread and butter instead of little paintings versus my big ones. And so I let my art class fuel me so that I can be free to paint paintings that I want to paint. And that in this case it's just big pictures, because I think eventually I am going to try to paint heaven and paint scriptures outside of their captivity where they are, some, in their parables, kind of, show them what they're looking at, what they're looking for, but in a painting like this, like this back here. So anyways, let's stop all this garbage about me and why I haven't been able to come out and hang out with you guys as much as I want. But anyways, I want to teach you about the mind. All right. For X you down and go for reading. Everything is about renewal of the mind. From the ideas of Buddhism and those places, those you have to understand, there's a pattern showing up between the oldest religions on earth. All right, you have, and they're set in threes, and they have this code in there. So you have the same thing. You have the setup about a more ancient place, and that involves Jainism. I'm probably saying it wrong, but I like Jain. I think it's better than, I don't know how else to say it. Yanism. But anyways, absolutely, from like a very peaceful situation where, these people, they don't do anything wrong. They don't even, they know how to take care of themselves. They can help themselves. They can protect themselves. But it's a very peaceful group. But this would have been like first, and they all share the same mountain. That's how you know that at different times in our world there must be like a chakra point on our. I know it sounds kind of new age of me to say that, but on our Earth, and must be like one place where all these wonderful things can happen. And so at one time, this knowledge and stuff was, in India or that area around in there where you had Jainism and you had Hinduism and Buddhism, whichever direction it came in. I think because there was putting a person to it, Buddhism would be second, because that's what happens on our side. We put the Jesus in the second place, the New Testament, whereas we're introduced to God through the first. And then if we really knew what was in the real Quran, it would be teaching us what's in the third. The third is the combination of all of us, God and his makings. That's you and me as one. And this is considered the new mind. The new mind. A man that controls his mind is one of those minds. And this idea of control is the idea of learning or giving a partnership to this higher conscious, which bridles the human side of you or the animal side of you to do as you ask it to do. And this is that controlling of the mind. So it doesn't mean anything, that's crazy, or, you got some kind of extra ESP or power or anything like that. It's the benefits of free thinking and being yourself. And one of those benefits of the earth, when you finally get to be yourself, is light. Light, and that's in the form of influence and calm. And around hell it's not so great, but most of the time the whole thing is that you're recharging by bringing light into the world. That's just, but that's a wonderful thing to be in kind of charge of, But anyways, all of these stories, on our have to all about renewing the mind, and that renewing of the mind and giving your whole self to the Lord is the sacrifice. And the works, you can say that the works could be that hell and all this pestilence and meanness and wars and whatever, are meant to happen to bring life to you. It's like spanking something to get it to cry or to wake up. It's as if, this is a rite of passage that you can't get, and unless you have put some struggle in, and that's in this life or any life, because you get a chance. Maybe you're rich, and one day you lose everything, and if you don't go away of truly killing yourself, because you've amounted to nothing, if you learned that that was the first criteria that you needed to get into this other side, is to be left with nothing. And then the generous things that happen afterwards are really just this blessing of, inner peace, and trying and hopefully creating this inner peace to where it reflects outside of you as well. And these are pretty trying times, and any little bit of light would be nice and be appreciated. But if you're out there and you're trying to get over to this other side, you just know things, and you want to do these things, I'm understanding that this door, if you knock on it enough, because there's nothing out there saying you can't. There's no this idea, the whole idea of the way is that there's only one way. And it's the only way. And Buddhism sets its course a little clearer, where it says is that, you need to sit still while everything's still moving around. And this is the idea in Buddhism where the vessel, what's inside the vessel, the wheel, actually does the movement of things, but it's what's inside the wheels where all the stuff happens. So the renewal of the mind is the most important thing, and that's all it's asking of us. And if you get caught on the letter in the outside world, which is, when you read things by what you see and not what you don't see, then Maya represents itself. And Maya, which is the god, which is the name for a devil, gets a chance to, suck you back into this other space, And like with me, I have to paint paintings and be creative and stuff like that. I think I'm on the right side, but I'm still trying to make money and stuff, and that's the root to all evils and things. So until I actually, go past having to be a part of this outside world, which means, maybe one day going to a monastery or to a place, and showing them what I can do, or teaching them what I can teach, or whatever. See if they'll let me come and hang out with them or something like that. And then, then I could focus more on justice and 100% this, and how cool, wild shit might happen, because, I do know that we were able to, one of the stories in the, in the Bible, as well as in Buddhism, is the idea of you can purify water. You can do some kind of thing where, water, you can just, we could always perhaps do that. But if you put negative energy on it, you can, it's already negative. What does it need more, But you learn that just, it's not even just you. It's this idea. You could just write the word love, LOVE, put it on some water, and it changes it on a molecular level from the inside. And that other things like the word thankfulness and stuff like that. This is to change the pH, and it just makes the water more beautiful. And the opposite can happen. You don't even have to say it, but you could put a dirty word on there or something like, hate, something like that. And it could turn the water awful, and on this molecular level. So, listen to this. 10 o'clock in the morning. Can you hear it? Because it just seems like constant airplanes. So I was going to do a lesson on here about minds, but I think I've already talked enough about it, right? It's pretty clear that the road to salvation is basically a type of knowing or knowledge or wisdom, and that it also frees you. This truth that sets you free. It's not to act like a fool or nothing like that, but it frees you and your mind to be who you are, and you become the miracle. I can't tell you what you're going to be or what your job is supposed to come out, or what you're supposed to do. But that's the point of this connection, is that it kind of cuts out the fat, weeds things, takes those things that are in you that are against you, that you thought so much were you, gone, and there are very few people that make it over onto this other side. And it's hard to show people that you do have any kind of connection to this other side. That's why I said keep it to yourself if you can. Don't let anybody know that you're Jesus, because then they just start looking crazy at you, and then you get maybe ostracized. Look what they did to him. If he was real, they killed that motherfucker, because he said he was God, but too bad, you guys, because we broke the code, and the code says you are God. You are the vessel that contains God, and the only way that God can exist in this earth, in this whatever, is through you. You're the most important thing on earth. You. And he needs this dark side too. He has to keep these wheels turning. So you make up your mind which side you want to be on. Because eventually, everyone is going to be on this side. He's taking the trickle discharge, and it's coming up. You have to come from the low end. That's not a trickle down. It's a trickle up. So, you guys, I'll give you a lesson later on. I'm going to go paint Gonna listen to some stories about the Buddha. All right. I'll see you later. Here comes another airplane. I love you. It's a stop sign. I'll be back with a lesson, a real one.